arrays and arrays declaration and see. So basically, what are arrays? Array is nothing but a group of same data type. So if I can have a bunch of similar things, but the values are different, they are known as arrays. For example, roll numbers of students can be an array because they're the same data type, which is numbers or integers, right? And each value is different. Hence, they are arrays. So, what exactly are in arrays? So, arrays are pictorially represented like this. You see, ARR here is the array name, and each block here is given an index number. Just like your roll numbers, you have index numbers in arrays. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically, these are the addresses given to each and every block here, so that you can use it while you want to pick that particular number, right? That's how you will call anything. You need an address for it. So here you can see array of 0. So array of 0 is where it points to the 0 index. So here if I store my value 7, so array of 0 would have the value 7. Remember that the one above here is the index of the array, or known as the address, so that you can access it time and again. For that you need an address, just like in pointers as you've learned before. And therefore you have array name here, and above it is index, and whatever value you'll be giving it to, the name of the array and the index will have the value stored within itself. So this is how arrays work. So let's see the declaration of arrays. So here you see bunch of array declarations, the million ways to declare an array. So right now you can see that int a of 3. So what exactly is int a of 3? So int a of 3 is nothing but an array of the size 3, which means it can store 3 values. Just like the pictorial representation given here, it is storing 3 values. Another type of declaration is int data type of the array name a, and size of the array is 3, and then it's given with flower curly braces 1, 2, 3. And you see the pictorial representation, it stores an index 0, 1, index 1 is 2, and index 3 it's 3. And another way, so when you do not give any values, what happens? So what happens is, you can see right there it stores the value 0, right? So in the size of array 3, and you can see the value 0, 0, 0 is stored when you're not giving any value, right? And in another representation here, you've given a data type int, array name a, and the 3 is the size of the array, and inside the assigning the value within the braces, you see 0 to 1, which means the indices 0 and 1 are given here, and the value 3 is to be stored in both of these index, right? And you see the pictorial representation, you've got 3 and 3, and 0 as usual because there's no value given here. And see the example below, the size of the array is not mentioned, which means you can enter any values you want. And here they've mentioned indices 0 and 1. So therefore only two values are mentioned, so you consider the size of the array to be 2. And we've got another representation where you use pointers here. So int star a, which is the pointer. So this is another way of storing array values. So basically every time you enter the value into an array here, which is pointer a, so pointer is nothing but the address. So when you enter the first value, the value will be stored in the pointer's address. And then you want to store another value. The value of the pointer will get incremented and just stores in the very next position, right? So this is also, I forgot to mention it, arrays are also sequential form of data. So they're stored one after the other, one after the other. So we can use the concept of pointers here as well to store the data. So let's begin with our very first array program. My header file is stdio.h. I think I should stop mentioning that in every video. So my main function as well. And yep, so let's start. My data type for array is int. Oops, a little error there. Yep. So my data type for array is int. So I've got int a, and the size of it is 3. And I'm using another integer called I. So you'll know why I will be using it. And this is another way to assign the value to your array. So you declare each and every index and assign the value. So index 0 would have 4, index 1 has 6, index 2 has 45. And my elements are going to be so surprise, surprise, we'll be using for loops here, because as we know, for loops are used to run the same statement continuously but with incrementation. So we have to do the same thing, right? I have to print the same value of the same thing, but the next one, the very next one. So I'll be using my for loop here, and hence I've declared I. So I start with index 0, so 0, and my maximum size here is 3, right? So my I value should obviously be less than or equal to 3, and I've used my print statement, and let's execute it. So I get my value here. The 3 values that I've declared have been shown displayed. So let's try another type of assignment. So I can even assign right beside them with curly braces. Yep, just like this, simple as it is. And the same for loop, and you get the output for this as well. And let's try another type of assignment. So this time I'm not going to give the size of the array, so it's up to the number of values I enter. The size of the array will be decided. So let me enter 4 variables, and oh, so I didn't change my for loop, right? So it's only till 3, so only 3 elements are displayed. So let me enter 4, and all the 4 elements are displayed, right? So when I do not give any size and I just keep entering values, the number of values you entered becomes the size of the array. So let us try taking the input from the user. So that, yeah, I need to change my for loop for it. So yeah, so I have to give a command to the user to enter the values, right? So yeah, enter the elements. So basically you call the data in the array as elements also. Yeah, and I use my for loop again. Why am I using for loop again? So if I enter the value, I enter first value, yes. Now I have to enter the second value, but of the same array and of the sequential order. How do I go to the next place? For that, I use for loop. Because it gets incremented by 1 each and every time, the value gets stored in the very next position, the very next position, the very next position, and it continues till all my index value is reached. So yeah, let us, yeah, let me change that a bit. Let me run, oops, my tiny error over there, which is my comma. Yeah, let's run it again. Yeah, So enter the elements. So I've given 10. I'll have to enter my 10 elements. So let me enter my 10 elements right here. Oh, I lost the count. Yep. Yeah, so all my elements are displayed. All of them are displayed. As you've seen in functions, how you pass a parameter. So basically in arrays, there's nothing different. You just pass the array and its size. Just the same thing, nothing and nothing different. When you're calling it also, you just use the array name and whatever your other parameter is, it not usually has to be the size or anything. So just concentrate on the array name part. You just pass the arrays and array names. That's all. So now what is an array of strings? So as you've seen in the data type videos, strings are nothing but collection of characters. So what is an array? Collection of same data type. So what is a string? It's a collection of characters. Characters also the same data type. So array of strings is nothing but the collection of same data type, which is characters. So as you can see here, the word foobar is the word. So it's a collection of the same data type. And just exactly like arrays, even this has indexes. You can see 0, 1, 2, 3. And the name of the string is word. So basic difference here is you declare it with character, data type, and you store characters, not numbers or integers, decimals. So basically you store them and you use them to show or display any word or to take an input of a word. And what happens in string of arrays is, how do you know that it ends right here? Use the null here, you can see /0 in the end. That basically defines how an array ends, or that basically defines that the array ends right here. So have a look at the picture here. This is how each and every string is declared. So at index 0 you have f1, you have 0, 2 you have sorry, o, not 0, my bad. So at 2 you have o, 3 you have b, 4 you have a, 5 you have r, and in the end you have null. Let's see how you declare a string. So character, your string name, and the size of the string. Size of the string is very important, and you have to remember that you declare the size of the string along with its null value. So if your word is 5, you'll have to declare 6. So let's try a very simple declaration of the string, most basic program. And so basically we'll be declaring the word hello, and let's start coding. So this is our stdio.h. So you'll come across this very often, strings, because you'll have to do bigger programs further and you'll have to need strings very much. So yeah, so here we've got data type character and my array name is word, and I'm not given the size and I'm directly declaring it with my codes hello, right? Hello, and end with semicolon, and let me print it out. So my format specifier for character data type is %s. I've mentioned it. You can even use %c if and only if it is a single value. So let's run it. And yes, see, you've got hello right here. So now within the hello part, let's try declaring single word, single letters. So PLR, and I give my null pointers, null value as well. And let's run the code. Yep, this declaration is exactly like that of arrays. Let me give a size. If I give size 4 and do the same, see, I get the same value. And let me try something different now, which you'll be using in many programs. So, name. So, my array size is 10, and the name of my array is name. So, we'll be taking the input from the user as well, and scanf. So, what is my format specifier for this %s? And you'll use ampersand n. You don't even have to use that, it's not quite necessary. So, yeah, and I printed out the name, semicolon. So, yep. So, execute it. Enter the name. So, let me enter Frank. I get my output Frank. Yes, so this is how arrays work. They're very simple, arrays and strings. You can practice a lot.